Do you remember the time when we have to stop using straw when we go to cafes and stuff like that?
Yes, I do.
But why are we using it now?
You're listening to
Jom Sembang Malaysia. So why lah you? What happened lah, you think?
I think the pandemic happened.
The pandemic happened. I think that's true. I think we were on a good track. Malaysia was on a good track of like not using straws at all in the coffee shops and stuff like that. Because I remember how irritated everyone was. And then we got used to it. And then, like you say, pandemic happened.
No, I'm actually irritated when I see people handing out straws like free it.
Yeah, I felt like we got a reset button after pandemic. Like when you go out, right? Here, as much straws you want.
Okay, so talking about pandemic, right? Do you remember the time when we actually had to go and tapao food?
Correct.
Right? I can't remember why already now, but it's like you would go out one day and then you tapao for 3 days. Why?
Because you're not supposed to go out very often.
Okay.
You're supposed to be MCO, controlled, go out and buy things, necessary things only.
Okay, got it. Seems so far away now. But I remember feeling so guilty every time I'm carrying all these plastic bags, I mean, I would bring containers.
Okay.
But somehow when you order those noodles and everything, it still comes in it comes in the plastic. And then it's tied with raffia string.
Yeah.
And the soup is another plastic. And then it goes into another plastic bag.
Which means you order a noodle, you get 3 plastic bags.
Yeah, 1 meal. 3 plastic bags. No, check count drinks. So yeah, never buy drinks lah. But I don't know, every time I come home and I'm carrying those bags, I'm feeling like the biggest sinner on earth sometimes. Although, okay lah, actually I can bring those, what do you call it, the reusable bags.
But during pandemic, people are not going to sit down there and customize your reusable bag.
No lah, I mean I can bring, but because it might be leaking and all that, then dirty and stuff lah. So yeah, so on one hand, you it's for the convenience, but on the other hand, I think we contributed a lot of waste lah.
I think I never realized how much plastic it is when we do food order, online delivery, until the pandemic. Because you have to buy in bulk.
Yes.
And suddenly when you're clearing your fridge or something, or you're like putting your groceries away, you're like, plastic. Like, so many plastic one. Like, but actually if you think about it, last time when you buy, also have lah. It's just that you buy one off, then one off, you don't feel it. So I really felt it during the pandemic because my plastic stash were going higher.
But I think it's also the acclimatization, so to speak. With climate change and everything, you see the effects of climate change. You see the floods happening. You see the tanah runtuh. You see all these things lah. Like wow, and you know that hey, I'm in a small way, I suppose. Every one of us is contributing to that. So it's just more hits home a bit harder lah. I think just being more aware of what we're doing with all these things.
So now that the pandemic has caused a reset to our attempt to reduce waste, how else are we going to get back on track?
I think it's awareness, isn't it? So I've always thought, okay, so going back to food vendors, like I said, right, they like giving plastic like free, right? Sometimes I think they don't really understand what it's about, because every time I say tak payah plastic, I get a weird look, like, oh yeah. Rather than, oh yeah, that's good, like, well done on you. It's more like, oh, tak nak ke? And then they put it back like something just happened that's really weird and awkward lah. So I think it's, number one, recreating that awareness. And I think now it should be easier, right? When you see all these calamities happening, people don't connect it with
I don't know. I just try to
and
think about, I think the last time when the big, huge whole thing about not using straw and everything came from UOB discovering our country was this dumpster for the world or something like that, and then sending the rubbish back, and then suddenly everybody's like, ooh. Now I feel like we need something like a catalyst to just restart that thing, Like my friends used to everybody go buy steel straw, and then they use a steel straw, and then sometimes, most of the time they left it at a shop because they forgot it's their own straw and
actually
stuff like
I
that.
don't know where mine is anymore.
So
no.
that kind of stuff. And then now it's like no one talks about it, no one uses about it. I don't see my friends bringing straws around anymore. And I find that, why is it so hard to get back on track just because we went through a 2 years pandemic?
People forget lah. I suppose it's like, now we're back to normal life. Maybe that habit hadn't stuck long enough for it to be considered normal life,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or
but
maybe pandemic really mess up our system lah.
could be lah.
The convenience part lah. I think a lot of the plastic usage is convenience. It's like even for the seller part,
Yes.
it's easier for me to just put everything into a plastic bag, tie, because that is my system. It's easy. But when you
Yes.
give me a container, I need to adjust to your container.
Exactly. Even
And then
the
as a 10 customer, I die lor.
yeah, even to know, right, the sauces, they kind of look the same, right? If
Correct.
you are tapawing, it goes into, how they put the plastic in the cup thing, and then you kind of can hold the thing. But if it's a different container, then yeah, it feels different.
The
Might even-
adjustment of the measurement or something like that lah.
Yeah. So like that lor.
But just in case you all don't know, right, Juwita is a very, waste conscious person.
I try to
I mean,
be lah.
remember the last 2 episodes where she said that, if I wrap up a present and she need to figure out what to do the wrapper, like, it's not like you can take and wrap something else because it's too folded and stuff like that, but she might actually keep the wrapper.
Yeah, use it for rough paper or something.
Yeah.
But I'm still holding a disposable cup, coffee. So I haven't reached there yet lah. Haven't reached graduation level yet. Still learning.
Graduation level.
Yeah.
So I think we have some projects that we wanted to do something like with waste upcycling and stuff like that in KL. Maybe we can talk about that after the break.
Sure. Today's episode is in support of the YWCA KL's brand new initiative called the YWCA Community Oasis. If you would like to be involved in greening up a space right in the middle of downtown KL, reach out to us on social media, YWCA KL.
Just said, I would like to green the place too.
Yes.
Okay, back to the episode. We have this space, right, that we wanted to make green in KL. And then one of the ideas we were having, like, have you heard of? It's called the eco bricks.
Yes.
Okay, so I tried doing some of it at home just to, I apparently collect quite a lot of trash.
Okay,
So,
that's
like,
because people know you collect.
Correct.
So,
Like this Karang Guni, but then the modern Karang Guni, like I have friends who like, Gina, I have 10 metal steel boxes. Would you want? That kind of stuff, because otherwise you go some trash. And then I have friends who are like, hey, I'm moving out of the house, garage sale. See anything you want before I, throw it away. And I will go and sapu some stuff, that kind of stuff. So yeah, Karang Guni, right?
Yep.
So I think during the pandemic, there were a lot of mineral bottles coming my way
Yeah.
with a lot of, like you say, plastics and stuff like that. And some of the plastic you cannot reuse. For example, right, plastic that I reuse is if I buy a drink and then it comes in a plastic bag, then I will rinse the plastic and I will hang dry and reuse. But if
Okay.
it comes with curry soup, how to wash and reuse? Cannot, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I will rinse and then I will put all this into the plastic bottle. And then I use it as like a brick lah, to build stuff in my garden.
So what have you built?
Mostly shelves.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
mostly
okay.
shelves and stuff.
So
like
these
that.
are the stands, like the pillars for the
Yeah,
shelf kind
correct.
of thing.
So I was doing a
Okay.
lot of experimenting that way. And then when we wanted to do this whole oasis in the Y,
Yeah.
I was thinking, let's build something with this, eco bricks and stuff like that. Because I'm sure pretty much a lot of people have a lot of bottles and a lot of plastic lying around and they don't know what to do with it. So these are some ideas that is worth exploring if you have so-called available waste at home.
Yeah. So I've seen this being done before. Well, not like a whole wall of bricks, but I've seen my nephew actually do it as his school project. So I think it was like a Coke bottle or something, the plastic one, and they would stuff like your bread, the bread wrapper plastic thing.
Yeah.
There's all this pretty clean stuff. And then it becomes pretty hard, isn't it?
Yes.
The bottle. So my question is, I really, really like the idea of, stuffing all these,
Different things.
yeah, into something that can be made usable, right? Like very efficiently lah. But my question is, what will the end product look like? Because I mean, okay, as much as we want to upcycle and reduce waste, I think the end product of the place is also very important, right? Like
I
you
get
wouldn't
what
want
you
it to be a mishmash of
Which is why I think something like eco bricks is something that you cannot do on your own. Because number one, you won't have enough trash to make enough bricks to be usable.
Okay, yeah.
Because what I was doing at my garden, I'm like, yo, I need 8 bricks. Why is it taking forever? You know, that kind of stuff. You somehow don't have enough trash to do it.
Yes,
That's
actually,
why you
because-
should do it as a community.
Correct, because for one bottle, you think it's small, kan?
You stuff and stuff and stuff. You still got a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you
So
don't
I
need
think in
a
the community it'd be quite interesting. So for example, like you can sort out, these are all the Coca-Cola cans, or Coca-Cola bottles and stuff. Then they have the same shape. And then when you using brick, right? Brick must be same size and same shape lah.
Exactly.
Otherwise pelik-pelik lah. Then the result also pelik-pelik lah, which is something that Ju doesn't like lah.
Yes.
She likes something that is quite, the bricks must all look the same lah.
Neat lah, neat. You know, yeah, neat, pleasing to the eye, that kind of things.
But the other thing that I learned during the pandemic is electronic waste.
Mm.
I used to don't think much about it. I use a CD and then, okay lah, throw away lah after I download from my client. Back in those times, it's no clouds, right? It's all CD transfer. Or like, let's say, batteries. Batteries are the easiest thing. Really just, change battery, then throw.
Yeah.
You know, or ink cartridge for your printer.
Yes.
Then throw. So, during the pandemic, I must be very free or something. I started to find like, can sell one ink cartridge, you know, and stuff like that. And then I started pile up, and then I contacted the guys and said, hey, I got ink cartridge, can sell, blah, blah, blah. Then they said, we also collect this. And I find out half of the things that they collect, I actually have. And I usually just throw into the bin. So it's like batteries, ink cartridge, and then maybe sockets, or if you have like the power cable and the power cable break already or something, then you just throw the whole thing. You don't.
Oh, really? I have loads of cables.
So
like, I don't even know what they're for.
Yeah, and then when my printer break down, normally we just take the printer and go to the trash bin and throw lah. You know, but they also collect it, and then they actually pay a very small sum. But I thought like, quite interesting lah. So what I did was, that time I remember I had a printer, I had a monitor, the 20-inch iMac stuff, and then I have some metal tin or something like that. And then they started telling me, the computer is 3 ringgit, the printer is 4 ringgit, and you know. And I went, okay, they said, sorry, ma'am, I'm not paying very much. Then I said, it's okay. Number one, you come and collect from my house for free.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, that itself is a service.
Yeah.
And then when you pay me, let's say 10 ringgit for all the trash that you got rid from me, it's a plus point lah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people like me also, I kind of feel guilty, you know, like, this thing then I'm throwing this thing. I'm sure there are bits and pieces of things that people can use inside, I don't know, an old computer or something, right? Then if I just throw it, like, you know, to the wrong place or in the garbage bin, then I know somebody eventually will go and pick it up. But why go and half the things might have been destroyed?
Correct.
You know, got wet and stuff when it could have been used lah. So, but these things, right, it's not easy to dispose of as
responsibly.
a person.
Yeah. My mom would say, just take and throw lah.
Yeah.
Why you need to like call people, then throw in the e-waste bin or something? She said, so mafan, just take and throw lah.
So if I change my remote control, it's going to be 2 batteries. Then
Just take and
like
throw lah.
I go and take and collect until when lah, you know, or change the clock, 1 battery. Of course, if you collect it, you know, you put it in a bin, it will. But then, where do I go and send it all? But I suppose in a community, you can really see the benefits, and somebody would know where to dispose of it.
Correct.
But yeah, you can actually Google, you know, there are people in Malaysia who collect these things like Gina said.
And pay you for it.
And
Not
pay you
much,
for it.
Not much, but still better than nothing.
Yeah, you don't have to go and find where to dispose of it lah.
So now in my house, right, there's this small little, maybe 2 feet times 2 feet space that I put all the electronic stuff.
Wow.
Even metal stuff, paper, or like stuff like that. And then once a while, I think it's quite sufficient for worth a trip lah. I also want to make it worth a trip for the person who collecting, you see.
Okay.
Then come, say, I got this, I take photo. Then say, okay, I come.
So should I just pass my stuff to you next time?
My mother started to, when she want to throw, I said, wait,
Really,
your oven, wait, I can't collect. Then I put it. And then-
Okay,
and
give me a list of stuff that I know.
So what happened is these guys came, I thought they just come and collect lah.
Ah.
But very professional, they'll bring the weighing scale.
Wow.
And then I said, oven is by kg. Then they put your oven on it. Then they say, okay lah, here got 3 kg, so it's about 6 ringgit lah. I mean, it's not much, but for me, I told them it's not really the value, but
Yeah.
it's just nice to know that people are doing things like that.
Yes.
And then he's collecting every day. I'm saying,
Wow.
wow, there's enough ways for you to collect every day to do something about it. It's quite amazing lah.
Yeah, so I was saying last time, you know, you see Karang-Guni is the people maybe cannot find other job lah. You know, they come and collect the trash, so to speak. But now it's a proper job.
Yeah, it's a proper job.
It is.
I see them, I'm really like salute lah.
Yeah, and you're doing a benefit to, I mean, it's a service that helps not just humans, but the entire environment as well. So,
Correct.
Well done.
So there are some ways that, like I said, if you cannot do it on your own, just put it aside, someone will collect it. So I think that is the most laziest, effective way to do it. Like a lot of people said, convenient, we throw easily. But if you can just put it aside and someone will come collect and pay you 3-4 ringgit for it, why not, right? I mean, this is a phone call away.
But it's also coming back to that understanding lah. Why are we doing this lah? So if people don't understand why, it will be like, why all the trouble lah? Just put it in the bin lah, you know. But if we understand that, hey, this is just doing a little bit to help with saving the environment, then it makes a lot of sense. It's not
so
that hard
recently, what's interesting is, our Prime Minister Anwar,
right? Who doesn't know?
He actually said, okay, now bulan Ramadan, kita ada bazaar. He said, please bring your own container when you go to Ramadan bazaar.
Yes.
Which I thought, like, wow, which Prime Minister actually says stuff like that? Like, who? Like, for me, that kind of awareness comes from authority that can spread everywhere. Instead of me and you talking, we probably talk to 100 people lah. He talked to 1 million people lah.
So I didn't know that Anwar also said that. I know the Ipoh City Council, so they were launching their Ramadan Bazaar.
Okay.
I hope I got the order correct lah. But they also wanted it to be environmentally responsible, right? So they were saying, bring your containers. And then they said, sometimes bringing containers is a little bit of a chore lah for people. They have to like keep lah, they have to wash lah. My mom always is like, they have to wash,
So it's at the end we're making waste because of convenience.
Yeah. So then they said, maybe then the peniaga can give a discount lah for people who bring. So like the cafe that I like to go, they offer a 50-cent discount if you bring your own container. And it's not just for takeaway, even if you're drinking there. So sometimes it's like, I just bring lah. I mean, 50 cents is not much. It does add up.
Yep.
But then I'm also starting to think, but if I bring my container, it'll keep the drink hot. You know how I keep my coffee for a very, very long time, from morning until afternoon. So, I mean, you add up all these benefits and it does help lah.
It just requires a lot more planning in a sense. I mean, it's like if I'm going Ramadan Bazaar for me, with my family, right, we always go one every year. We go like, wow, try this one, we buy whole packs of food. But if you need to bring container, you need to plan, okay, exactly what I'm buying, putting which container. It can be a little bit stressful, but it's a responsible kind of
thing to do. Okay, so for people who have never done this, I know it's old news for some. Some have made it a lifestyle, but some are still like, plastic bag alamak. It's not part of the habit yet. Maybe we can share 3 tips of how to reduce waste in your everyday life.
3 tips.
What do you do?
My first thing is collect everybody's waste, put in my house so that someone can collect. I think that's my way of contributing to the community around me.
Okay, so what I do is I keep containers in my car. So I have different sizes. I have one that is for, those 3-part, like the bento set like that, right? So if I go and tapao food, I can, like rice and dishes, I can use that.
She created a bento from her tapao, okay?
Yeah. And with that, because every time you carry that, right, then they'll ask you, you want plastic? Then like, alamak, how am I going to carry this bento, right? So carry a plastic with it lah and leave it in the car lah. So that helps. One more thing.
I need to think.
You need to think Okay lah, y'all let us know lah. We can't think of any at the moment, but y'all let us know.
Share your ideas.
Yeah, drop it in the comments wherever you're seeing or hearing this. It can be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or if you're on Anchor, right? You can actually leave a voice message.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, do you still use steel straw?
I told you I can't find mine.
Okay. Should I get you a new one?
No. Don't waste.
Okay, guys. See you in the next episode.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by 2 Malaysian friends who are passionate about Malaysian stuff.
Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Subito and Gina Yap Lai Yung.
Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105.
Remember to click like and subscribe for the latest episode release.